and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. The heat is on in Category 1 because Michael Kaminsky has decided it's time to wind this up, stretch it out. They haven't hit the sprint, but they have just gone over one of the first rises. Not everybody's even in the chase group. Never mind the leaders, there are bodies behind. And with this ferocious pace, I just don't see, unless the 2 leading groups come together and they both sit up, you're not going to see a situation where those riders off the back are going to get back on again. And this is before we hit the yellow. Kansara has made 3, now 4 riders from Category 3 working the way in and through. They've just gone past Ola Warren there, the Category 4 point scorer.
Orego has gone clear. He's pushed on early. He's paid dividends for him. That's the banner. This is Nicholas Orego. There's a round of applause.
12 watts per kilo coming out of Valencia here. Neville Ross is working for this. Daniel Valencia could well be getting this. Will he hold on to the line? The UCI banner comes. This is the run to the line. Neville Ross comes up behind him, but Daniel Valencia comes flying through. He takes the win. The UCI banner. He's making his way to the line. It's going to be a win here in Category 4. The first rider home today from Wales, Robert Edwards.
Can he be the king of Hollywood today? That's the UCI banner. He's all ported his way to the finish line. Your winner today, Luke Allport in Category 4. Ben Kirk is going to take the win in Category 4. He's going to be the first rider over the line on the Sunday Race Club June final. Ben Kirk is your winner today in Category 4.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم مع الانطلاقات ال4 والفئات ال4. الفئة باللون الأحمر، الفئة الرابعة والفئة الثالثة بالأزرق، والفئة الثانية باللون الأخضر، والأولى باللون الأصفر.
أدريانو زاناسكا يتقدم في هذا السبرنت. نعم، أدريانو زاناسكا يتقدم ديفيد أوشا متواجد ضمن الكوكب المتقدمة. بين كيرك، جيسون أوزبورن بطل السبرنت الأول لهذه الفئة. جيسون أوزبورن يعود بقوة الآن، ينافس بقوة الآن، هو في مقدمة السباق مع ميهال كامنسكي، خلفه مباشرة ميهال كامنسكي الأتاك، وينطلق 6 ثواني تفصل بينه وبين اللاعبين 6 أو 7 في الأمام. 5 ثواني يتقلص الفارق الآن. أمامها مباشرة تقريبا 200 متر بين اللاعب مستر إكساندر واللاعبين في الأمام بقيادة كارلوس أوسبينا. الأرقام جميلة جدا بالنسبة لهذه الفئة. والآن آخر 100 متر ودخول خط النهائي لهذا اللاعب والفوز لنيكولاس أوريغو بالمركز الأول للفئة الرابعة بالسباق التأهيلي الأول من شهر يونيو. ألف مبروك لنيكولاس الذي جاء بالمركز الأول. دانيال في آخر 200 متر، في آخر 200 متر يصل الواط إلى 1000 واط في هذه اللحظات عند دانيال فالنسيا. هذا اللاعب الذي لديه القدرة على سبرنت يدخل أولا وبطل مرحلة اليوم في أستراليا ووترلو.
روبرت إلى خط النهاية وإلى المركز الأول في الأمتار الأخيرة، آخر 20 متر والمركز الأول لصالح روبرت إدوارد. لوك ألبورت إلى المركز الأول، كما ذكرنا هو قادر على الفوز في هذا اليوم فيما توافقت عليه كل الآراء، لأن هذا المكان شبيه بولونغونغ. ولوك ألبورت
في أصعب مكان في جبل جيز سوف ينهيها بالمركز الأول. نعم، بين كيرك هو بطل النهائي من شهر جون، بطل النهائي من الفئة الرابعة. بين كيرك الأسترالي يحصل على الثلاثية، يحصل على القميص الأصفر والقميص المنقط والقميص الأخضر أيضا.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. If you were watching the women's race, you knew that we didn't have coffee. We have got coffee, and I have been mainlining the espressos just so that I am back on form for what is going to be an absolutely lightning fast Belgian race heading out and round our usual course. Now, I am joined by a slightly more sedate, latte rather than espresso, Emma Martin.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 1 for July.
Yes, Emma has not had quite as many coffees as me, but do you know what? I don't think any of us will have had enough to get us round here as fast as our riders will have. This is our classic Belgian course, isn't it, Emma? And after our 6K flat, it all kicks off.
Well, it does indeed. So 6 very flat kilometres to start for a 45-kilometre race. 492 metres of climb. We've got the Kortekeer, we've got the Valkenburg, the Eichenberg climb, the Quermont and the Pattenberg to finish. And that's where Kaminski put in his killer attack last time to win Category 1.
The last time we came here, he was our winner. Now, Michael Kaminski, not on the start sheets. We have it on good authority from Michael. He's out on holiday. So have a good holidays, Michael. It does mean that the rest of the riders know they've got to face this. Now, you will notice there is one missing climb in terms of not being categorised. That is the Eichenberg Hill immediately before the Eichenberg climb. And the two together are a bit of a fearsome combination. But each of these points is a selection point which you have to make. And if you were watching the women's race, you'll know that Emmen has repeatedly said on many occasions that you've got to treat each one as your finish line. And that is the case here in Belgium, because you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be a Category 1 rider in yellow, a Category 2 rider in green, Category 3 rider in blue, or of course, our Category 4 rider in red. And it's our Category 4 who kick off 5 minutes in front of Category 3. Let's have a look at our teams and our riders. We have a real class set of riders in here. The ZTBR team, headed up by Vaz and Satorio Ramos. We have got up Cycles, Nasker and Lloyd. The Power Squad, Rusinek and Rooney. Level Up Racing, Allport and Warren. The Anzacs, well, they have McMurty in there, heading their squad as well. Wolfie's Racing Team, because Tom Harvey back on our start sheets as well. Team Fuego with Marcus Brito. And a huge cast of riders from 15 nations taking to the race start. So, qualifier race number 1. It's the start of a new year. The Arabic New Year kicking off today. We're kicking off our racing with a Category 4. Away they go. This is the start. This is a flat start. You saw that on our course profile. 6 kilometres of basically 0% ascent and 0% descent. And it usually kicks off quite fast.
It does indeed normally kick off quite fast, and Stefan Proust has indeed done that with Luke Allport. They are pushing on off of the start line on this huge pack of 44 Category 4 riders on the start sheets today. And today, it is a story of movement. Not just race movement, but race field movement.
Okay.
Because people have moved up.
Indeed, some people have moved up, some people have moved down. Do tell us more whilst we watch Mohammed Suleiman at the moment in the pack here, just moving up to the front. Interesting, nice move by him, just squeezing onto the front, being in the right position.
Yeah, we've got one rider just off the back actually at the moment, needing to push on and push in. But you're right, Matt. So riders in first and second place in the final from June, moving up to Category 3 today. So Ben Kirk, a Category 3 rider today. Pino finished in third. He's on the start sheets. Calangad in fifth. Roy in fourth. Those 3 are on the start sheets, but the top 2 spots, well, those 2 riders have progressed to Category 3, leaving the top of the podium anybody's to take.
Indeed, and good to see a number of returning riders as well. Just seen that we've got Torsten Holtz, one of our regular riders in here, staying focused right in the mix. And look at this, he's very aware of the danger of David Winfield and Luke Allport on the front. Holtz sitting in those wheels, just making sure he stays in that draft as much as possible. Look at those watts change there, dropping down 304.22, yo-yoing up and down, just trying to make sure he doesn't do too much work in the wind, but stays in that draft.
Now, one of the really interesting things, Matt, I did take a look when we were last in Belgium for the men's race. That was Qualifier 1 in June. And do you know, in Category 4, all of the riders who finished in the top 5 in Category 4 in Qualifier 1 in June are now racing in Category 3.
And that is fantastic progression. That just shows you how much
better you can get.
Yeah, the riders just improving time and time again. Now, Justin Roy in here, now he must fancy his chances here today, as will Luke Allport and Ola Warren, the front three on this pack at the moment, leading them through and in towards town, currently at 1.7 kilometres. A real mixed race field across the nations here. One of the riders I noticed was back, and good to see him back with us. SS back in the race field as well. Good to see you back, buddy. He's just in the group.
Been some time.
It's been a while, and good to see him back in our races with the characteristic blue cap, of course. That means that we can spot him easily. Thank you very much, sir, because we do like it when our riders have generally the same identifying marks.
I love it in the finals where the teams go full bore on matching kit.
It does help.
Well, matching accessories, should I say.
Indeed. Now, through the sprint we go, because our riders at the moment just going in underneath the banner. The first sprint is against City Sprint, 2 kilometres to 2.3k, so basically 300 metres. And you can see at the moment that pace has taken Luke Allport into... And he gives us an emotion there. It's saying he's quite enjoyed the fact that he's now ahead of the sprint as they came through that time. Fastest time, 21.386. Now, the sprints don't result in prizes, apart from bragging rights, the ability to pull on the green jersey. And if you so fancy, you can make your own jersey to have at home on the wall. We have seen riders do that. No names being mentioned, Mr. Rimbaud, but it has been done before. Now, let's go on to our Category 3 riders who start 5 minutes behind Category 4. The Draft Squad, they're going to be captained here today by Niall Batty. We've got the Level Racing Squad, they're captained by the one and only, oh, it is that man. It is Golden Boy himself, Eric Rimbaud. We've got Level Racing Revolution. They're captained by Nathan Peterson. And we've got X-Pro, captained by Juan Martin Mesa. 4 very class riders from Germany, Sweden, New Zealand, and Colombia, respectively. In fact, 17 nations on the start line here in Category 3.
Well, yeah, 49 riders on the start sheets wearing those blue jerseys today. As the clock ticks down for this race in Belgium, we're in with Pulgarin with 2-1 go. It is green. Category 3 are away. Out go 49 riders. It's not the biggest field, but it is a huge field for Qualifier 1 in July on the Sunday Race Club. Well, Hagland is the rider right at the front here with Neville Ross, moving on this race, pushing on at the front. A bit of a stretch on the race field at the moment, getting it up to speed, 43 kilometres an hour at the moment, and just ticking as they want to keep that pace high. But now, really interesting, Matt, the pace coming off the front of the pack. They've got it up to pace. They're sitting back. It's a flat start. Well, the pack motoring well now and settled.
Nicholas Hagland, you can just see there, really focused, looking like he means business here today. You can just see the sun shining in the background there. And the Swedish rider, one of the big squad of Swedish riders in there. They are going to no doubt want to be taking that home. I think we're just going to jump randomly across here just to totally confuse things. Looking at selection for World Championships.
Oh, I wonder where you were going.
To the World Championships.
Okay.
I might have been a rubbish rider, but I have actually managed to make a few World Championships and, in fact, the Olympic Games on the bike. Something I could never do as a rider because I was nowhere near good enough. But when you look at the selections, the nations that we've got in here, Sweden, when you think of nations, Swedish riders who ride on esports is a massive amount of riders. That's going to be a really tough selection. And I keep thinking that when we've got so many nations down on the start lines here, you know, Andrew Neville Ross in here, you know, we've got riders from Australia, New Zealand, from the southern continents. We've got riders from Europe, from the Americas, you know, all over the globe, you know, and yet all these riders are going to be competing in those World Championships, and the selection must be so tough to make for some people.
The selection in the men, Sweden have 4 riders in the men's category quota. They have 10 in the women's category quota, which shows you the quality of the female racers in Sweden.
Sweden.
Sorry,
Yep.
I'm also looking at Switzerland at the moment as well. I just wondered whether they've got. So again, you see the women are very dominant. Switzerland, 7 women on the rider quota, 5 men.
More even though than the Swedish, so maybe the Swedish men need to get their finger out. I mean, Eric Rimborg at the moment just on the chase of David Young at the moment leading this out. And if you look at that push from him, it really is working. He's got a gap here. He's going in through the sprint. He's really working hard. We'll see if he can stay clear. He is in the front here of the Category 3 race. He's gone hard. He's gone early. The rider from the United States of America at the moment pushing on through behind him. It is that man. He has indeed gone to explore brave new worlds in distant galaxies because Ben Kirk has made his way from Category 4 to Category 3. It's not quite where no man has gone before, but it's definitely somewhere he's not been before. We'll see how he gets on. Already looking active in here and pushing his way underneath. Now, Taylor Gonsoldin, another of our American riders going in, just chasing as well. But look at those times on the way in through. Ben Kirk goes through. That was the second fastest time. Now Batty's 7th fastest time. So those Category 4 riders coming through quite quickly. But the Category 3 riders going a little bit quicker in many cases.
Well, really interesting to see both big packs, both fast. The Category 4 riders, the first riders on to the Quarter. They've done the 6 kilometres of flat. Welcome to the climbs.
And this is where things will get spicy indeed, if they weren't already. Now, Mohammed Suleiman at the moment just onto the front. Luke Allport quickly goes and marks that move out. We are going to head on to the climb. Now, the Quarter is the very first climb of these climbs. It is the longest climb of the lot at 3.9 kilometres. However, this is very much a 2-stage climb. We have the long first part, the main part, and then we drop down. And then we go on to the second part, which is a nasty little kicker on the back, just to make this very, very difficult. So the riders onto the climb at the moment. This is part 1. And on part 1, we do have riders already being dropped. Part 2, you can see the result of that usually because we will see this coming down. Emma, we talked about riders making a selection for the Worlds. This is about making a selection at the front of the race and not losing contact with the lead group, because it's not likely that we're going to see the 2 riders that are on the front 4 seconds clear, Van Hennigan and Allport, stay clear.
Well, they are pushing on at the front, and you're right about having to dig deep and stay with them, because look at the stretch on that Category 4 race field. On the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, that graphic tells you the hurt that is going on at the moment with the pace being set at the front of this race. Now, the riders know they have to dig deep and they have to dig hard, because every single one of these climbs, treat it like, I'm going to say it again, the finish line is at the top, because it is so important. You will only get better by pushing harder. And as riders change categories, they push on and they need to see how long they can stay with the leaders. Now, Cridland right up here at the moment. He's in the top 5 at the moment with Connell, Carcahal, Holtz, Marin, Almeida, Allport. This group really, really pushing. Look at that concentration on Cridland's face.
Sorry, I was mildly distracted by the fantastic Mapai casquette or hat he's got on there. Look at that. Proper Mapai. That's like the 2000s Mapai kit. Absolutely brilliant. For anybody that doesn't know, Mapai actually make glue that sticks your floor tiles down and your tiles on the wall.
You are full of information.
That is actually, everybody who thinks it's some glamorous manufacturer of super duper carbon bikes. No, it's not. It's glue for sticking your tiles down on the floor.
Whilst you do have an amazing, head for random cycling related information,
yes,
you're also very partial to a casquette.
I am indeed partial to a casquette. I have a collection of hats. I very rarely wear any or all of them. But no, I must admit, I do like, I've got a selection of all sorts. Got to say a big thank you to anybody who has ever handed one over, passed it over. I absolutely appreciate it. If you want to get in my good books, there are 3 things you can do. 1 is get me an ice cream. 2 is share me a coffee with me a coffee. And the 3rd thing is a casquette, or send me a link to something unusual that maybe I haven't seen before. Because I'm always up for them. Not just old ones, there's one new ones, some really nice new designs. It's one of the reasons why I like SS, because he always has a blue casquette on, a blue race cap on, and it makes him easy to identify. But it's a cap, not a bandana or a helmet.
Well, there you go. And this group of Category 4 riders now breaking clear of the main group. Now, let's just confirm we had 44 riders on the start line, and that small group now at 7.5 kilometres in that Category 4 race pushing on.
And if we move across quickly to 3, Category 3, that is, it's David Young, who is number 1, because he is at the moment clear by some 15 seconds. He's quarter of a minute down the road.
He pushed on, didn't he?
He sprinted off. He's gone clear. They haven't responded. Are you in the David Young school of thought of going for it early, Emma? Or are you in the pack school of thought of thinking about this a little bit more and going for it on the climbs? You've got about 5 seconds to answer this.
I think it's a phenomenal tactic that will take the race by the scruff of the neck and see where it goes.
That definitely wasn't 5 seconds. So here we go.
Brave rider, like a brave rider. Fortunately,
it was a little bit more than 5 seconds till he hit the base of the climb. But here he comes. He's on his way in to the start of the Corsa Kia climb. David Young leading this group by 17 seconds as they come in. This group have kept their powder dry. They are waiting to light the fuse that will send that keg stratospheric as they hit the start of the slopes. Will it be a takeoff ramp for somebody for victory? We will find out. But with 2 groups away, categories 4 and 3, it's time to move across to our next 2 categories. 5 minutes between categories 4 and 3. Between 3 and 2, 10 minutes, which means that we're into the last minutes before the start of the Category 2 race. The riders in those green jerseys. And we will see if the Aotearoa Alliance, headed up by David Goodall, will take out the goats. I'm not going to say anything, but do watch the downhill men's race. Goat action all the way. Whether it be matched by Jonas Bjarhed, I'll let you find that out. Level, I'm going to know exactly what I'm referring to there. The Level Wizards, well, they've got 2 captains in the shape of Walter and Coyston. The UAE clan team now, Mr. X100 and Pablo Bobovic, due to be in action at the front of affairs for them. Will the UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan, be able to assert their authority over a massive range of riders from 19 nations? So just about to break into the 20 nation mark for Category 2. It's time to break out of the start pendant onto the roads here. Happy New Islamic Year to our riders. Happy racing for our Category 2. We'll find out. It is qualifier number 1 in July. And already the pressure is on.
Well, I'll tell you something. There are some names on this list we don't normally see in this category. Nicole Consara is one of them, having come up from Category 3 alongside Ivo Sur, Jose Oviedo as well, and Paolo Kirchner. All of those 4 riders having come up from Category 3 this month. Moving on up to Category 1, Anders Bengtsson, Joselle Betty and Lyndon Millerstick. So we're not going to see the family double being done for the top 5 racing in Category 3 and in Category 2 anymore, because the young lad, the young bright star in the family, has indeed moved up to Category 1.
Well, those people with a tinfoil hat may think the move up was just to do with splitting them up so they couldn't then exert their team tactics.
Oh, no.
Tactics,
he deserves it.
He well and truly does. Not only does he deserve it, but also we've seen them knock chunks out of each other in the racing as well, in the family. So whether or not they actually get on, we don't know in real life. We maybe they'll tell us. Lyndon, Peter, let us know. But it's not a no.
Divulge family secrets.
Yeah, if you resolve your family differences out on the road on MyWhoosh, do let us know. Maybe Kane, the two Kanes, maybe they resolve the differences about who I
Who
want
is
to
the
take the
better
car out.
sprinter?
It's not just the bike racing differences, but differences of opinion. The best colour for your bike is green. The best colour for your bike is blue. Well, let's sort it out on the road. I don't know. We will find out. Okay, in with the racing, in with the riders. Interesting here that this group are ticking along. Mr. X100 tucked in here for the UAE Clan team, one of our regular riders on MyWhoosh, and has been from pretty much the word go. He is in here. He's up against a fearsome competition in Category 2, where we're seeing Peter Milostic, the man we were just talking about already up the front. Ross Fawcett, a man who we saw taking sprints in the MyWhoosh Championships. On there. Emma, quick reminder.
Actually, this is a good course for him.
It's a great course for him. I was just thinking about the championships then, because of course we've got the GCC.
Stage race.
We have,
we do indeed. 5 days, 5 stages. Nice little mini tour coming up, starting on Monday. 2 groups of riders, verified racers who are racing for the overall competition and prizes, and then a whole raft of participants taking part as well. 4 road races, 1 individual time trial, men and women all racing on the same routes, pretty much between 30 and 42 kilometres in length, each of those stages. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm really, really looking forward to it. I mean, some great courses. We have got hilly courses, rolling courses. We've got some really hard rolling with short climbs, flat courses, big climb on there as well. Going to be interesting. You do have to be either a resident or a citizen of the areas that are within the GCC area. So that's the Gulf Cooperation Council area. That's the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and Kuwait to be in there. But please do jump on board. And if you're not, come and join us. Emma and I are going to be putting words to the action. We're really looking forward to that. So make sure you've got that subscribe button hit on YouTube. You'll get that action and the race action that we've got right now. Emma, what's the news from the front?
Well, the action here tells me that Category 2, well, they are rolling. That's how I'm going to describe it. Category 2 are rolling. The fastest rider through the sprint in Category 2, Khan Kane, in 34th position.
That's
overall.
not rolling. That's not
well,
the brakes
actually, no. Hold a minute. Olivier Simmons has slipped into 20th because Luke Allport heading up so far the fastest sprint at the moment. Ben Kirk in 2, Dieter Detroyer in 3, Brett McMurtry in 4, Taylor Gonzalez in 5. Mixture of Category 3 and Category 4.
Well, can the Category 1 beat the riders in and through? Will they get themselves on top of those sprint standings? We have the Coalition Alpha Jaw, Arnie Jacobs. We've got David Talbot, Lionel Vajassin, and Ollie Jones in action. Ollie Jones, wearer of a casket in blue. We also have the Hard to Guard team of Martin Martins, Michael Knudsen, and Stefan Van Elst. And the human squad, well, Daniel Arato is going to be heading them up. Going to be very interesting to see how they get on. It is 16 nations lined up on our start for the Category 1 race here today. It is qualifier number 1 in July. It is the kickoff of our race action, which will take us through to our July finals. Our riders are go. We are go. It is time to see who's kicking off the new year here in MyWhoosh with a race win. Who's going to be in it to win it on each and every one of our summits as we go through over the Kortekeer, over the Valkenburg, over the Eikenberg, and over the Quermont before we hit that Pattenberg, the final climb on today's Belgian course with 45 kilometres of racing and 492 metres of ascent.
Well, the news here today, no Mikhail Kaminsky, he's on holiday, no Said Safrazadeh, no Jason Osborne, but the riders who are here, and they are absolutely world class.
Oh, yes. Now, Emma, before you I know she's desperate to tell you about all these riders in this pack. You could tell that we got our start list earlier than we have in previous week because Emma was in 7th heaven looking at our riders and who was in there. Jacobs, Justin Jones, just some of them. Emma, take us through the riders, maybe to start off with our 3 on the screen.
Ollie Jones took 3rd place last week for Coalition Alpha Jaw. Obviously, looking like it's the cooler conditions at the moment. Warmer where Viersen and Jacobs are. In fact, Jones down in the southern hemisphere. Winter at the moment. So just a little quick heads up. We talked about Bengston, Betty and Millerstick coming up from Cat 2. We know Dont has come up quite recently as well. Now, for me, I have 2 riders I am going to put my hat on today. Hayden Pucker.
Ooh.
And Mikel Plantero.
Okay.
Those are the two riders
So
I'm going with
Hayden
today.
Pucker from the United States and Mikel Plantero, who's on our screens,
Yep.
who is in France at the
He's
moment.
finished second here on this course before Plantero has, and I think he is absolutely lining himself up for the win.
Well, the French are in good position in terms of the kicking a ball about a oblong shaped bit
Did they
of grass.
win the?
I don't know. I didn't see the results. I was too busy.
Oh, I'm going to have to Google.
So let's see if Mikel Plantero can do better. He's going to get himself up into victory here today. Did France take victory? I don't know. It shows you we were really, really busy yesterday, actually, when we returned to the Full Speed Event Studios. We had actually been down in France through the week, doing a little bit of preparation for later on in the year. It's a busy season for esports because we have, of course, not just the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh. We also, of course, have the GCC Tour. Please do have a watch of the race action. They're going to be really good to see and great to see so many people joining in and going to be comparing themselves to the best riders. We also, of course, have our semi-finals and our finals coming up in the World Championships. MyWhoosh, the UCI partner for 2024, 25 and 26 so far. And, of course, sponsor of the Road World Championships. And there is a vicious rumour out at the moment that Emma will be going to the Road Championships.
I'm so looking forward to that.
It is only a possibility at the moment.
I know it's not confirmed, confirmed, but I quite fancy Zurich.
Zurich
in September.
nice. And don't forget, you can go ride on those World Championship courses. I have yet to. Emma, have you yet ridden on the World Championship courses? I know you've ridden in Belgium on the sprints.
Let's just take a little look here. We are indeed at the Ghent City Sprint. Luke Allport setting the fastest time, 21 seconds, 0.386, slightly quicker than Ben Kirk from Category 3. Ruben Dont. Oh, look at that! It's changing, it's flickering, Dieter de Troyer, Brett McMurtry, Ricardo Panizza, the fastest Category 5 rider. Gonsolin, Hagland. Oh, it's live results, you know.
It is. Panizza is in Category 1. We don't have 5 categories yet. Give us time.
Yeah,
we've only just done it.
Right.
You can tell the coffee. You go get an espresso, and then I'm going to jump back in with you in a second.
Come on, I'll tell you something. I can do you the Euro football, though. Spain
Okay.
and France in the semi-final on Tuesday.
Ooh.
Netherlands versus England is the other semi-final. So just a little interlude there for any European football fans who happen to be following the football at the moment.
And we should have warned you about that spoiler before we did that, but if not, tough luck. There
well,
you go.
Can I say,
Thanks.
It is just a summer of amazing sport.
It is a summer of sport. We have got some great action, of course, all year round on MyWhoosh. We don't just have what is a Northern Hemisphere-centric race season. We are here week in, week out. We being the whole MyWhoosh team behind the scenes who make the games happen, the broadcast team, as well as Emma and myself, who get to put the little cherry on top of the cake that is the racing. I put in words to the action, and a real privilege and an honour to do so. We're going to be continuing to bring you all of that action right the way through the Sunday Race Club, the GCC Tour, all the new races coming up. We're really looking forward to, of course, those World Championships, which is going to be coming to you for live. The top 20, is it, riders in the final, if I remember correctly?
Yes, in the
top
men's
20
and
riders
the women's.
in the men's, top 20 riders in the women's are going to be in person in the same room, having to perform.
But they've got to get through that semi-final first, you know.
And we're going to be there watching and putting words to the action as well. And I hope you're going to be joining us. If you're out there, you're probably going to need to grab a ticket pretty quickly when they're available. If not, then make sure, of course, you are watching on the MyWhoosh channel. Now, some of these riders will be thinking they may be in selection, because we've got to remind everybody there is a massive selection of nations going.
Yes.
And it may be that the nations don't always have somebody in Category 1. It may be in Category 2. Now, on to this climb. We are in Category 2. They're already working well. They're ahead of Category 1, where we are seeing Michael Nuss and Hayden Pucker at the moment. Just a little bit of a squeeze on here.
Yeah, they are indeed.
You can tell it was a serious intent, because Ujassin has answered that very quickly.
So has Jacobs, Arnie Jacobs, 10 watts per kilo to close that gap down. So the Coalition Alpha Dual riders taking this attack from Pucker and Knudsen very, very seriously, and so they should. Two class riders pushing it on. They're pushing it on at 4.5 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race, and they're pushing it on the flatlands.
Emma, you were talking earlier on. That was the politest yes I ever get in the studio ever.com. Put the date in your diary. So we were talking in the women's race about the selection of certain people for the World Championships. Hayden Pucker, he's a man who's got his work cut out surely in terms of his selection in getting into the world's finals. It's a possibility, isn't it, that he could be there?
Yes.
Do you think he's going to be in the selection? Do we know the selection process for the United States, for example?
No, it's not up at the moment, though.
Ooh.
I think it is imminent. But they have 7 men on the rider quota for the USA. They have 10 women on the riders quota for the USA. So that selection criteria quite imminent. But Zach Nair is indeed now coaching Hayden Pucker.
Okay.
And if you follow Pucker on social media, you will see his performances are getting stronger.
Okay, we will have to see. Now, one man who's very strong in Category 2 is Simon Walter. Out of the saddle here, you can see kicking that turbo round, just making sure he gets that power down in through the turbo trainer. I was having a really interesting listen to the Virtual Velo podcast, actually, about turbo trainers and their accuracy and the relevance for that, not just to the World Championships, but to all over.
I'm sorry, but that was such a great conversation we had with the researchers at Purdue University. Absolutely. Everybody who rides a turbo trainer should listen to that. And I'm not saying that because I am a co-host of the Virtual Velo podcast.
No, it was very informative. And if you want to know how to be quick and make sure you get accurate results, have a listen. Really, really interesting. Lots about the worlds in there as well. So that's Virtual Velo podcast. Emma hosting that with Christopher Schwenker.
Yes.
If my pronunciation is correct.
Well, at the moment in Category 1, they're at 6.1 kilometres into the race. Category 2 at 8.9. Category 3 at 15.4 kilometres. And Category 4, well, they are the leaders on the road at the moment at 18.5 kilometres into this race. At 18.5 kilometres, yeps, if you can remember back to that early race map, they are on the Valkenburg climb, used last in the Tour of Flanders in 1996.
Oh, that's definitely Mapai territory as well, 1996. So they make their way up here. You can see Luke Allport on the front in Category 4 being chased by SS by Marin. Looks like Carcahart as well. Tim Connelly here, Almeida, Holtz. It's changing fast because it's still a big group, although we can't necessarily see them on the screen in the red jerseys because we're focused right on the front. Left-hand side, you sure can, because that is one heck of a big bunch. They're chasing Janka Plinsky. I tell you what, they're chasing and going past Mr. X100 on the attack in Category 2 as well. And they are really ripping this up. They are on this steep climb that comes in at 9.5 kilometers. They are on the final stage.
Of the Quarter Key.
It is the final countdown. They are on the way up to a high point in Europe. This group has exploded out. It's broken apart. And at the moment, that race for the summit is on. It's a sharp left-hand turn in Category 2 coming up over the top, and then it's a quick descent down from the top of the Quarter Key. The Valkenburg on the right-hand side is definitely not that, because when you get to the top of the Valkenburg, you've got the long transition through the lake where it is basically pancake flat, and that is where riders can come back. So, Category 4, motoring on the Valkenburg. Category 2 come through underneath the banner at the top of the Quarter Key. They should set the fastest time so far up there, but right behind them, look at this, 7.2k in there on the Quarter Key climb. Such is the length of the climb. They're on the early stages, and Lionel Vujasin at the moment in Category 1, he's putting down the marker that all of the riders have to follow. He's setting the pace on here. He's out of the saddle and he's tempoing his way up here. He's got Knudsen behind him. He's got Van Elst in third place, and the selection could soon be made here. This, at the moment, is a group of 6 riders, but look behind. If you look on the bottom left-hand side of your screen simultaneously, do that Apache helicopter thing, one eye one direction, one eye going the other. The group on the left, it shows you the disc. They are at the moment fracturing and coming back together very, very quickly. Right-hand side, in the middle of your screen, you can see this is a train of riders, and at the moment the gaps are not big enough to be definitive. We, I think, are going to lose one rider off this group as we go over the top. It descends for a short while, and then it kicks again. Kroll in the front group, leading them up here. Another rider who must be in with a good shout of those World Championships.
Definitely.
I would say that, you know, he's pretty much cut and pasted in, but that's not my decision, and it's going to be interesting what the selectors do going in there. Now, on to this descent. This is this little rundown. You can see top right-hand side of the screen, the course profile. The course moves from right to left through that yellow line. We're on a little bit of a leveling. It will then drop again, and then we kick up to the summit. This is a tricky climb to get right, to get the pacing right on here, because this step in it, it's not just a short kilometer sprint. The Valkenburg, the Eichenberg Hill and Climb, and the Paterberg are all almost effectively sprints. They're so short, you can really rip up them at speed. The Cortekia, and to some degree the Quermont, that is not the case.
Well, the Cortekia is 3.9 kilometres in length with, it says, an average gradient of 2.5%. I think that might be...
No, all that downhill.
Do you know what? All that downhill. And you look at it and you think, how can that be when the most steepest section of that climb is 17%? But there is a huge section of downhill on that climb. The Valkenburg, 1.3 kilometres. The Eichenberg, 1.6 kilometres. The Quermont, 2.2 kilometres. The Paterberg, 400 metres.
My kind of climb. Not my kind of climb, definitely the Valkenburg. It's over 400 meters long. These, as Emma said, 1.3K. We have got category 3 on the way into and up. It's a little bit of a dip as you run into this. So it goes down. You can build up a little bit of momentum, kick in and go up. If you get that right, it really rockets you in. If you don't get that right, you really can be in trouble. And with these climbs coming across the entirety of the race route, realistically, once you completed the first 6K, you've only got one really long section of flat, and that is between the Eichenberg duo and the Quermont. Even then, that is not easy because you've gone through all these climbs before. Okay, let's get back to where our Category 1 riders are. Todd Allen Young there, out of the saddle, really kicking down well on this climb with our leaders coming up to the top of the Cortekia. They've got to make it round this right-hand sweeping bend and taking that left-hand turn. Todd, come on, mate. Just get in that group. Do not ease off now. Come on, buddy. You can see the pain on his face. He can see them going. He wants to respond to this. He knows he's got riders behind him. You could see the anguish there as he couldn't hold on any longer. The damage is terrible.
Decimation of that Category 1 race field on the Quermont today. Vujasin, Kroll, Jacobs, Jones, Plantero, Knudsen. Mayer is there, so is Puck. Do you know it's still a big group? Whilst we've got absolutely split groups behind this leading group now as they go over the Cortekia, I'm going to confirm Kroll, Van Elst, Jones, Mayer, Plantero, Vujasin, Knudsen, Jacobs and Pucker. 9 riders going over the Cortekia climb in that Category 1 pack. There you go.
Interesting to see how they roll now. We're just waiting for our Cortekia climb screen to update. That was a fantastic run. Here we are. You just see it. This is how live it is. It is fresh. It's hot off the computers at MyWhoosh HQ. And that is how live we bring you those results. And look at that. Christoph Kroll, the rider we saw on our screens, going over in the fastest time, but nothing really separating the riders. 0.844 of a second separating the top 8 riders there as they went over the top of the climb. This is a select group, Emma. This surely is selection 1 already made.
It is indeed. I think you could be right in that. Selection 1 already made on the Cortekia, but the push still coming on, and it's Knudsen. Knudsen is pushing on the front here, not wanting to sit up and wait till the end. Now, last time we were on this Belgium course. In Category 1, it was a significantly sized group that went into the base of the Papenburg together. And that is where Kaminski attacked and blew the group apart. But it was about 8 or 9 riders who went in at the bottom. At the moment, 9 riders in this leading group in Category 1. The chase group, Bengston, Wilson, Panizza, Allingham and Thompson, are the chasing group. But 9 riders at the moment clear at the front of Category 1.
And on the descents and on the flat that will take them through to the Valkenburg, having 9 riders versus 4 means the advantage, not just in terms of power, but in terms of being able to rest, take a lesser turn, to get more drafting advantage by hiding behind more riders. It lies with the leading group in Category 1. So selection, I think, made there. The 4 behind, if they can bring it back, are going to expend so much energy doing so. It's going to leave them in a very, very dodgy position. Very, very difficult then to then repeat that or be in the right place at the top of our second climb, but it is a different profile. Now, a little bit further down the road, Category 2 have descended down from the Kortekeer climb. They are currently at 15 kilometres, which means they're through the Thistlehoven Moorland sprint, which is basically the windmill sprint. And as you can see, Sir Carradine on there.
Tucked nicely into the group.
He's tucked in the group. He's got the composure to wave at the cameras as well. Good to see Sard in there. And he's one of our regular riders. Yes, I did wave back, my buddy. Don't worry. I'm liking the jersey as well. So that is a Phonak jersey, if I'm not much mistaken. Nice. Good choice there.
Well,
don't take fashion tips from me though, but
no.
I'm definitely Mr. Retro when it comes to riders' jerseys.
In the middle of this leading group of Category 2 riders. It's a huge group of Category 2 riders. At last count, I had it at 24 riders. Who is in the mix? Well, Khan Cairn is there. Peter Millerstick is the rider pushing on at the front. Quintero is there. Gates, Brune, Troshanowski, Simmons, all in this mix at the moment. Kaplinski is there. Klinstonen is there, Krasnich is there. You know, this is a who's who. In fact, when I looked at Category 2 today, before the racing started, I wrote one thing on my start sheets.
Did you?
Packed field.
Packed field. Okay. I coloured mine in. Emma writes proper notes.
It is indeed a packed field of
actually,
absolute quality.
I'm going to take that back. I do colour-coded notes, which is actually more accurate than saying I just colour it in, because that would just be...
That would infer geography.
It worked. Oh, there you are. Every geographer in the room are now going to get upset. Now, we said Category 2 have gone through the Thistlehoven Moorland sprint. Category 1 have just gone through. They set the fastest times. They have displaced Dieter de Troyer of Category 4 up at the top, who sprinted through there in 22.545 seconds, because 21.506, Ollie Jones led through Category 1 in the Thistlehoven Moorland sprint. But this could all change, because remember, these times are live, and anybody sprinting to try and chase back on again could take the top of the standings. That could yet happen.
I just had a little moment looking at the results of the sprint, because I only counted 8 Category 1 riders in the group, and then I looked down and I scrolled. Michael Knudsen comfortably in the group, going through, our 9th rider, but just a little bit off of the pace of the others. Now, interestingly, Ruben Dont has just set the fastest time through the sprint. He is chasing in Category 1 and obviously utilising the sprints today.
Now, we saw Ruben Dont on the attack previously, going for a long solo attack to give himself some room on the climbs. Dont, a fantastic and aggressive rider in Category 2, making the transition to Category 1. That sprint, where he has just taken in the Thistlehoven Moorland sprint, his average watts per kilo, 9.1 watts per kilo, really, really showing he was trying at that. Hayden Pucker doing a Dont almost, and going on the attack here.
On the
He's
downhill.
absolutely flying. Great place to attack, though. People aren't expecting it, make them work. The problem he's got, there's a big group behind him, and they could close him down. They're currently at 14.6k, nearly 10k up the road. Category 4 on motoring through the course. They're at 25 kilometres. They're well down the road. The Category 2 leaders at the moment, well, the group has been blown apart once again, because Milostic is at it. Peter Milostic and Alex Heaney at the moment, with 6 seconds lead over a big pack of riders behind who are chasing, including Bjarhead, Waltham and Dakowitz, Quintero, Krasnich. They are all in that chase group in Category 2.
And they're coming up to the Valkenburg.
They are. Interesting to see how that is being raced out at the moment in Category 2 with that attack. Very aggressive racing here. Pucker at the moment, 3 seconds clear of the chase group in Category 1. We've got riders all over the place, all over the course here, Emma. It is Belgium living up to that Belgian reputation for just
hard racing,
blowing the groups apart, and unpredictable racing as well.
In fact, much so.
Would you say the only predictable thing about the racing in Belgium is it'll be unpredictable?
Exactly. Okay, now I'm taking a look at this Category 2 race at the moment, and Heaney and Millerstick, these 2 riders breaking clear. Do you know they're 12 seconds clear? This, for me, is more dangerous than Pucker. Much more dangerous, because that group of chasing Category 1 riders are reeling Hayden Pucker back in. He's stretched his legs. He's going to go back into the pack. But the 2 riders at the front at the moment of this Category 2 race, this is dangerous territory because they could both win the race. X100 now calling to the rest of the pack to take turns to help work to bring them back, because he's noticed the danger as well. They have just hit the Valkenburg climb. Now, Heaney and Millerstick can both climb.
And we've seen Mr. X100 marshal the troops in the UAE clan team over the years. He knows what to do. He's ridden this. He's got that astute tactical awareness.
He's a road captain.
He's a proper road captain. He knows what, where, and when. And he's doing the same here. And there are riders around him, people like Phil Graves, who've ridden against him for years and years. They know that when he says, look, we've got to go after these guys, they do. And the pressure is now on. Look at the numbers coming out. We're seeing them going into the red zone here as they come up, and they are going to do some serious chasing up at the front. I think that we could well see the 2 riders come back very quickly indeed. What this group have to not do is destroy the integrity of the group by chasing too hard, because I think for this group at this stage at 18K, there is definite dividends to be taken by keeping a reasonable size a little bit further down, maybe potentially into the Quermont climb. So use this volume of riders to just keep the riders they've already distanced, because it's a big race field. Keep them off the back by working together.
It is 2 riders out front, 22 riders chasing in Category 2. They're at 19 kilometres on the Valkenburg, further down the race course. This is the leaders on the right-hand side of your screen in the Category 3 race. They're at 24.8 kilometres. This is the Eichenberg Hill before the Eichenberg climb. So this is a uncategorized climb on the course today, and this is the leading group of Category 3 riders, and you can see the size of that group. It is substantial. Cadiz, Van Velgem, Cadabona, they are in here, but it is right the way across the road.
It's across the road, and the surefire indicator that they are not on the limit, because when you're on the limit, you'll see one long line. Now, on the limit, SS at the moment stretching this out. He's got about 5 seconds on Tim Connell and the group behind. He needs to be careful, though, because behind him, that is a big, big group, and they could close this gap down at the moment. SS out of the saddle. It's welcome back to the racing. We're going to see what the guys behind can do. We have to take a look. We know that SS has got an absolute class pedigree, but been off the bike, not racing for a while, and it does mean that now he has got to test himself up against some unknown for him racers. They, though, are the cream of the crop in Category 4, and some incredibly strong names in here. People like David Winfield, who we know will be right in the mix. Holst, Allport, Warren, Connell. They're people you just don't push. I mean, look at Almeida.
Look at the work going on at the moment in the Pain Caves.
Somebody buy Franklin Gomez de Almeida a bigger fan. My goodness, you can see the sheen of sweat on him from the work he is doing here today. He's really pushing, but this is such a strong climb. You've got to put the watts down. You've got to power your way up here. But I tell you something, he's right where he needs to be. He's in the chasing group, not expending too much energy off the front, but saving energy for later in this Belgian race route. Category 4, 28.5k, working well. Now, back with Category 1. We saw that move by Pucker go on the descent, come back in. He's now back in the fold. The leading group have come on, back you come. Come on, what were you doing? That was a silly move, wasn't it, on the downhill? We were always going to catch you, and Aidan's going, I don't care. I stretched my legs. Made you lot think. That's always going to be an advantage. You don't know whether I'm going to do it on the next downhill or the next or the one after that. Keep people guessing is a very valid and very, very, very good race tactic. Now, Stefan Van Els, the man there in the colours of the Avis Le squad, the man there looking strong on the left of your screen, very attentive. Look at the focus. He's not thinking about his pedaling position. That's just natural. That position on the bike, there is not one thought in his head about how he's riding. That is instinctive. His thought is on the racing. He's watching that screen. Look at that, just sitting back down, super smooth. Now he looks down, he has a little bit of a breather, but straight back up onto the screen. That's a racer looking at racing.
Racing at the moment is indeed Van Els. He's with Vujasin, Plantro, Pucker. Mel is in there as well. So is Jakob. So is Knudsen. They are racing really hard. 9 riders currently leading this Category 1 race. And very shortly, when they head around that left-hand bend, they will see the polka dot banner signifying the top of the Valkenburg climb.
And interestingly, right at the top, Vujasin now starting to kick on. He wants to take away that polka dot jersey. He's using this. If you're going to push hard over the top, because when you go onto the flat, that gap that you get will suddenly magnify. So as the gradient starts to drop off, he's pushing. The rest are having to respond. He's using this gradient. Look at this. He's gone over the top. It's 0% effectively. Now slight downhill. He's still maintaining nearly 7 watts per kilo. He went up the climb at an average of 7.0 watts per kilo. He's continued over the top after that 2 minutes and 15 seconds of effort. An average watts of 483. He's continued over the top, and at the moment that means that he is making everybody else dance to his tune. Van Els, Kroll, Pucker and Jacobs rounding out the top 5, but that is a big group of riders working the way up to the top of the Valkenburg climb, the second of our categorized climbs, with 3 more categorized climbs to come, 4 more climbs in total.
Well, Vujasin has indeed won in Belgium before, but that was back in March.
In March, wow. Where was Knudsen in all that? Because he's just gone over the top and done put a counter-attack in as they picked up Pablo Kirchner coming in, one of our Category 2 riders. Kirchner doing the smart move here, jumping onto the back of Knudsen here, Oviedo in this mix as well. Now, I'll tell you, if they can keep on working like this at the front of this Category 1 group, they are going to make life difficult for anybody who put in an unnecessary effort. Hayden, Pucker, because he put in an effort on that downhill. Now, if he was struggling after that, they can take advantage and really hand it to him. I think Pucker has got it in his legs and he's got a game plan.
I don't think he's struggling at all.
I think he went on that move. He put in the attack, but he knew he would need to leave something for this point.
Well, Mendakowicz is putting the power down as well in Category 2 at the moment. He is off the front of that group with Simmons. They are 10 seconds clear now of the chasers. Interesting move in Category 2. They're at 23.6 kilometres. At 28.3 kilometres is the leading group in Category 3. And boy, it is still a leading group, and a huge group at that. In Category 4, well, SS is continuing the attack off the front at the moment. You can see the group behind. They're holding him at about 9 or 10 seconds. Holtz, Connell, Warren, Cridland, Allport and Winfield all in that chasing group.
And that's exactly what I'll be doing in that Category 4 pack. If somebody wants to go on the front and work hard on that flat section between the Eichenberg climb and the Quermont, it's about 6K, it's slightly rising, but it's fast. You're going to be burning a lot of energy out solo now.
I can tell you, in Category 4, over the Eichenberg climb, 12 riders went over the top in the leading group.
So 12 riders over the top, 1 rider's clear. That's SS. He has got his work cut out to try and stay clear. Will he do so? Well, we'll be back with him in a minute. We're in with Category 2 at the moment, left-hand side of your screen. Mendakowicz and Simmons, the 2 riders who have gone clear. They're holding 14 seconds at the moment over the chasing group. And I'm almost reluctant to say chasing group, because the effort that's going in at the moment is not a chase effort. This is a riding into the climb at a comfortable pace, getting ready for the climb, getting ready for the push. And now we're seeing the lift. Now we're seeing the push on those watts. We're starting to see an increase in the effort in that chase. And now is the time when Mendakowicz and Simmons on the left will get a real indication of just how strong the chasing pack are, because that chasing pack, they've pushed everybody in the red zone. You can see those chevrons on your screen. The riders digging down into zone 5, 6 level efforts, right on the limit of their power, really pushing on here. And they have one thing in mind: stay in this group and get to the front, because you want to be in it to win it as you go over the top. If they pull back the 2 riders in front on the way, that is just a bonus, because they have to keep this group moving. They need to get up to the top of this, in the front of this group. I think the 2 out front, that is such a brave move. Absolutely love it, but potentially doomed to failure.
Well, there are still over 20 riders in that leading group in Category 2. There's another rider on the attack here in Category 1, and that's Michael Knudsen. He's 2 seconds down the road. Mikael Plantero is doing the chasing. Hayden Pucker, Yasin Kroll, all behind. So is Van Elst and Jones. So it was 9 riders in the leading group in Category 1. Knudsen now the one pushing on. He's pushing on 23.4 kilometres. They are coming in to the Eichenberg Hill. Now, this is the unclassified climb before the Eichenberg climb. It's 1.4 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 4.3%. And then you descend off the top and you transition straight into the Eichenberg climb.
A really technical, in terms of pace, in terms of cadence, in terms of timing, section of the course, going from the Eichenberg Hill to the Eichenberg climb. Now, Messick Mendakowicz currently up at the front of Category 2 with Olivier Simmons. They are at 25.4k. This is coming in over the summit of that Eichenberg Hill. And as they push on at the moment, that gap is minimal, because the group behind has come up at pace. We saw them go in the red. We saw them starting to push, and it means that they have pulled back those riders in front. Now, if the 2 riders in front had the intention of just getting a little bit of time to have an easier climb up, they've achieved that. Good job done. If they went clear with the intention of staying clear, that tactic failed, but they may have got some unintended bonuses behind. But this is damage being done, because in that chase, by making that chase hard, we have seen at least 2, if not 3 people go off the back of that pack. We'll get those numbers in a little bit when we get, I think, to the top of the Eichenberg climb. I know Emma will be all over those stats as they come in. Category 2 is moving. Mr. X100 on the moving Category 2. His old sparring partner and teammate SS on the right hand side of your screen in Category 4. Currently 20 seconds clear, but we're at 35k, and this race is 45 kilometers long. It has got an absolute brute of a finish. The Quermont climb and the Pattenberg climb to
come. And boy, you have to save something for those.
I was going to open this can of worms.
I was just about to say.
I was going to open this can of worms earlier. And I think it probably bears opening when we take a look at the course profile and then compare it to what's open when we get that tin open. And I'm going to go, that's me doing the tin opener action. I'm doing it as well as waving at the camera. I do hand actions off screen. You guys can't see if you're watching live, thank goodness. And Emma and the production team just laugh at. Let's go to the course profile. Let's open this can of worms then. Okay, 2 types of tactics can go on here. 1, give everything on the first 35 kilometers and get clear. Break clear there. Or do you save something at the end and do basically as little as humanly possible to stay with the front group? Do the absolute minimum coming into the 35k marker with the intention of absolutely annihilating everybody else on those last 2 climbs.
Can I say something? On the Pattenberg, the final climb, 400 metres of climbing, everyone would go, oh, it's only 400 metres. You can put minutes onto your group in 400 metres on that climb if you save something for the attack. But you have got to be with the lead group at that point, because you have done 1, 2, 3, 4 categorized climbs, but more climbs because the Eichenberg Hill is not categorised. Before you get to that point, you've also done 42.9 kilometres racing. The Quermont and the Pattenberg are absolutely instrumental to winning this race, but you have to be at the front of your race.
Oh.
So there is a balance.
I'm going to disagree
There's
with that.
a balance.
You've got to be near the front. You've got to be in the leading group.
Well, that was what I was inferring.
For me, the key thing, like you say, I mean, it's how much you put in. Do you save energy? Do you go off early? Do you damage legs by making it hard early on? We're seeing that with the riders going on the attack on the offensive early in the groups, and we see that riders. I mean, we saw Hayden Pucker on the descent in category 1 going off the front, really starting to make people work at somewhere they weren't expecting, maybe when they were just going to take a rest, get a gel, get a drink, really stick it to them. We're seeing here in category 4, SS went on the attack. It hasn't worked out in terms of staying clear. He's been pulled back by this group on the run into the climb, but he's had to work out. He's basically got that
has
ride
he done too much?
Did he do too much too soon to take the victory? Is that his target? Is his target maybe, well, actually, what I want to do is I want to be riding really fast for 35k and put in lots of efforts, and what happens at the end happens because I'm new into the category. We will see. It is a select group. There is definitely damage that has been done in category 4. I'm making that Emma 12 riders, I think.
12 riders leading category 4 at the moment, and they are all back together again. Well, this is category 2, and X100 is pushing on at the moment. This is the Eichenberg climb, and category 2 are pushing. Graves is chasing with Harvey, Bjarhead, Mendakowicz is in there as well. On the left-hand side of your screen, it's category 1, and Knudsen, Vujasin and Pucker with Jacobs and Plantero. They are rolling into, well, there it is. That is the polka dot banner signifying the start of the Eichenberg climb.
So the Eichenberg climb, 1.6 kilometers long, average gradient 4.3. This gets steeper the further up you go. So basically, it's a concave hill profile rather than convex hill profile. So basically, you go in and it steepens at the top rather than rolling off as you get up the slope. It gets easier. And the way that the shape of the hill unfolds in front of you can change how you ride it and who is suited to it. Now, top of the Eichenberg climb, just in front of category 1, you can just see Mr. X100 setting a 3-minute 11 time up that climb. That is going to be the fastest time until category 1 get there, pretty much for sure, because although the chasers were coming behind, 4 seconds slower. Phil Graves coming up there. So Phil Graves, although he might be based near the North Yorkshire moors, he needs to get those short, sharp, steep ascents dialed in if he wants to beat that time of Mr. X100, who came over the top with that leading time. Will it withstand the assault that is bound to come from the Category 1 riders? And that's going to be difficult because we know the Category 1 are the world's best. And here they are, left-hand side of your screen. You can see they are 1.8k behind Mr. X100 at the moment. They are onto the climb. This is the lead of Category 1. This is where you've got to be in it, to win it. However, we are at, quick reminder, 28 kilometres of 45 kilometres of racing in our Category 1 race. There's still a lot of climbing. There's a lot of racing to be done. How hard do you go? How much damage do you do to yourself? And how much can you do to the riders that are with you in that pursuit of victory? And how much do you look after your teammate? Because it's all very well smashing the group apart if the only people that you really do damage to are your teammates. And the Coalition Alpha Jaws squad, the Hard to Guard squad, and the rest of the teams, they know this. They won't want to distance their own teammates. I mean, Michael Knudsen, he's on the attack. Surely he's told Martins and Van Els, I'm going to push here. Are you good with that? The answer will be yes or no. Doesn't mean you always listen.
Off you go. I'm not coming with you. But Knudsen obviously is feeling on good form at the moment, which is great to see. So Michael Knudsen pushing on at the front. Lionel Vujasin is the rider going with him. So is Arne Jacobs. These riders now pushing on and flying past one of the Category 3 riders, Geraldo. So Ollie Jones, Vujasin, Knudsen, Plantero, Jacobs, Jacobs Pucker. Pucker is the rider now in danger. He's 4 seconds back. He's going to need to push to stay with this group. He's going to need to dig. Vidal Mayer, well, and Christoph Kroll. Those two riders even further back now. So Kroll and Mayer, 10 seconds back. Pucker, 3 seconds back. He is going to need to push. He's the rider who could get back in. But will he, or are we now going to see an elite group of 5 riders in Category 1 go clear? Well, 5 riders go over the top of the Eichenberg climb in Category 1 at the head of the race. Jacobs leading it out with the fastest time, 2 minutes, 57 seconds. Plantero in 2, Jones in 3, Vujasin in 4, and Knudsen in 5. Just 0.7 of a second slower than Jacobs. But Hayden Pucker now 8 seconds he has lost on that climb. Kroll, 13 seconds he has lost. He was riding so strongly earlier on. And now coming up for 30 kilometres into this race. It's looking like we've got a leading group of 5 in the Category 1 race.
Well, let's keep our eyes on those numbers as we continue to push. And you can see here at the moment, Kroll, right-hand side of the screen, then Jones, then Vujasin, then Jacobs right to left in there. Jones low on those bars, sprinting his way down here. He wants to get into that slipstream. He wants to be making contact there. Meanwhile, Vujasin is still smashing away on the front here as well. Plantero working to get into this group. He is going to make contact, and I think the group Category 2 riders are not going to be able to do too much about staying with Category 1 if they're moving at this pace, but the draft is available. Each group can draft each other, and that means that when you are a rider in Categories 2, 3, and 4, you get the practice, you get the training, you get that experience of riding with faster riders and the pace of going. A bit like you imagine the old school Derny training we used to do, sat behind the motorbike, trying not to breathe in the fumes and trying to hide behind and get that high-speed practice in. This is exactly what these riders are getting. So not only the riders in Categories 2, 3, and 4 able to race against each other, also at the same time, if they get caught by a faster group, able to do that training, that practice. It's really hard to replicate, and in fact it's probably easiest in terms of replicating and safest to do it indoors and do it on MyWhoosh.
Well, it is indeed, and Mendakowicz is doing it on MyWhoosh at the moment at the front of this Category 2 race. Mendakowicz pushing on at 32.7 kilometres. Phil Graves is at the head of the chase with Jonas Bjarhead. 2 class riders leading the chase.
Now I'm going to get Emma's brain cells fried here. Is Mendakowicz I'm going to say a horrible phrase, the most winningest? Basically,
the most winning.
Yeah. Sorry, I heard somebody say it, and it made me cringe when I was listening to it. It was somebody else, believe me, not in the studio because they get in trouble. Is Maciej Mendakowicz. I told you to fry your brain cells. Is Maciej Mendakowicz the rider?
I think I've just got mud swirling.
Yeah, is he the rider who has won the most on the Belgian course? Who in the men's race has won the most races in Belgium in the men's race? Because the reason I say that is it's a course that we know suits him, and we know he is aggressive on this course. I think he could be right up there, but we've not used. It's not like it's one of the. It's not the Yebelhof feet where we've been up it time and time again, and we're probably into treble figures for the number of times we've gone up there. But the Belgian course, is he a rider? Would you say he's the most successful? Do the stats bear that out, Emma?
No.
Do elaborate.
Absolutely not.
You know, it's an audio medium. If you'd
like
to elaborate.
Mendakowicz finished second in March in Belgium. Since then, he has not finished in the top 5 in Belgium.
Okay, so who is the rider with the best results, irrespective of category, in Belgium?
Oh, I would need to work that out. I can work that out, but that would take me a little bit of time. But I mean,
well, whilst you're working that out, I'll tell you what. Shall I do some talking and you do some thinking?
Oh, I'm not going to work it out today. I think Kaminski.
What's your gut feel? Then we can come back to it next time we come to Belgium.
My gut feel: Kaminski's strong. Nair is strong. Graves always does quite well because he's got that punchy sprint on him. You just give me some tricky ones in the middle of the
I
race,
do,
don't you?
indeed. There you are. Well, whilst Emma's thinking about that, I'm going to go back to Michael Dudson, who's on the offensive again, a rider who I think is getting better and better on this course. He's a rider who seems to be coming back into form. He's clear of Ollie Jones at the moment. Jones chasing with that blue cap, chasing the shaven-headed Knudsen. Those two riders at the front being chased then by Vajasin Jacobs, Pucker and co. Currently 3 seconds to the group behind this pair. So category 1 exploding as they make their way in through the city streets at 33 kilometers midway between the Eichenberg climb and the Quermont climb. But a little further down the road, and it's not that much further, 1.5 kilometers down the road, the front of category 2, currently being led by Tatu Koistonen, who's squeezing on here at 5.4 watts per kilo.
And he is a rider who does well in Belgium in category 2. Koistonen's name is often in the top 5 when we head to Belgium, a course that suits him. Neville Ross is another one of the riders who I've just picked up on my sheets, but Neville Ross has moved from category 4 to category 3. Really interesting to see him in the mix here. This is at 38.2 kilometers into this 45 kilometer race, and he is still in the front group.
So by moving up and then racing in with a higher category than you were previously, but doing so on a course that maybe suits you, gives you a better chance of being in the mix. Now, at the moment, Golden Boy himself, it is Eric Rimborg on the offensive. He's making his way up here. He is looking to try and add some polka dots to another T-shirt. He's trying to get a collection on his wall. We'll see if he is going to be bringing us those videos. Do give him a follow on social media. Very, very entertaining. Brightens my day up every day when he says hello to everybody on social media. Great to see him in action. He's right up in the thick of the mix, proving that you can have the legs as well as being able to talk the talk. You can walk the walk, or in this case, ride the ride as well. Now, the riders going over the top here at 38.7k, 38.8. That is the top of the Quermont climb. In front of them is the descent down to where our riders are in the front of the race overall. Luke Allport, Tim Connell and Torsten Holtz, the 3 leading riders being chased at the moment through the subterranean tunnels at 42.3k. They will hit the Patenberg climb at 42.9. 500 meters to go before we go into our final climb for category 4, the Patenberg, as Emma has said, a 400 meter, 8.5% average gradient sprint uphill to try and take it away. Meanwhile, category 1 is all over the road as well. Category 2, that group has come down. Category 3, that's still a big group. Category 4, this could come down to who can ascend that final climb the fastest. They're about to hit it.
10 riders in that leading group in category 4, 14 riders in the leading group in category 3 over the top of the Quermont climb. Just the Patenberg setting those 2 race fields between them and the finish line. And this is the Patenberg climb in category 4. And it's Allport heading to the front. Luke Allport heads to the front for the final climb of the day for the men here in Belgium. He's up the Patenberg, but he's got company. Zanaska is there. Carcajal is there. Cridland, Winfield. They are on his heels as he fights his way to the top of the Patenberg today. The polka dot banner is nearly in sight. It's just 400 meters, but what a 400 meters it is.
This is all about being able to push. You kicked into the start. You've gone round the right-hand bend. It straightened us out. You can see the archway in the distance. Cridland can see it. He can see that little arch just hiding just the top of it, visible around that left-hand turn. Look at the face of Cridland here as they make their way up. He's in second position here. He knows he wants to be in this group or off the front of this group. He cannot afford to be off the back. You get distance here. You have not got the distance to come back in again, because as we go over the top, those riders who have kicked and paced it right will be able to accelerate. Now, the slabs, the paving slabs are going to eke out. This is brutal. Meanwhile, back in category 2, it's all action as well. Mr. X100 is at the top, I think. Oh, he's on it. No, sorry, he's part way up. The Quermont climb, by the look of this, at 37.1. That's me looking at the profile, not the distance as well. And it looks like he's on the attack. So, over the top of the climb, our numbers at the moment. I think we've lost one rider, two riders, maybe it's going to be 9 or 10 riders down through here in towards the finale. This is the Category 4 leaders on the way in. They've got over the Paterberg climb, led through the fastest time by Ola Warren over the top of that climb, but that doesn't mean he's the rider who's done the smartest ride, because we've got the finish coming up very shortly. Meanwhile, Michael Knudsen on the attacking Category 1. Category 3, Emma, bigger group.
They are indeed a bigger group. 14 riders in Category 3 at last check. Much bigger than the riders in Category 4, but it's still going to be 8 riders going into that finish in Category 4 together. As they swing round on the flat section, there is a small climb before the finish. This is about who holds their nerve, who has anything left, and who can get the timing right for the finish, because Category 4 are going to run into the finish line first.
So Category 4 should be our first finishers that over the top of the Paterberg climb. It's about who blinks first, who will go. Timing is critical. We have seen riders go early and hold it to the line. Long sweeping right-hand bend where the gradient goes up. It levels off as we go around the left-hand bend, and then we have the run-in that's flat to the finish. You've got to get the timing right. Get it wrong, you go backwards through this group. First to kick looks like it's going to be Adriano Zanaska, just lifting the pace. He drops it back down again. He's being answered by Carcahal. Carcahal goes over the top, but we're now starting to see a push on by Carcahal. He just hit 7 watts per kilo. Cridland is coming behind. He's just lifted the pace. So is Roy. Roy's great at getting his timing right. Can he do so here today? Warren is coming, the man who went up that last climb the fastest. He goes into position 1. He's leading this group out. 500 meters to go here. We are not at the end of this short climb. We're going to take this left-hand turn. Warren, Roy, Allport, Winfield, that at the moment is your top 4, and we are starting to see Carcahal and Connell be distanced here as Warren continues to wind up 7.5 watts per kilo, 8 watts per kilo. Allport is starting to increase the pace. Can he find a kick at the finish to match his initial kicks that have taken him clear before? He's winding it up. Has he run out of road? It's going to be tight. Ola Warren is moving, but is he moving fast enough? He should have this. It is qualifier race number 1 for July. Our first race finisher, our winner, it's Ola Warren here in Category 4. He takes the win from Luke Allport into Adriano Zanaska in 3. I think it's going to be Justin Roy in 4, David Winfield in 5, Cridland in 6, and Connell potentially in 7.
What a race. Well, what a race. And that was just Category 4. Category 3 are now on the Paterberg, and I tell you something, they are absolutely motoring. 14 riders went into the bottom of the Paterberg together, and it's looking like it's Martin Messer who is towards the front of this group at the moment. He's got Angarita for company. That's the polka dot banner. That's the top of the Paterberg. So Angarita, Martin Messer, Rodriguez is 4 seconds back. So it's looking like 2 riders now going clear in Category 3, but the chase group is going to be huge. So Angarita and Messer, the 2 riders who go over the top of the Paterberg first. Rodriguez goes through in 3rd place. Kochkov, Dijach, Rinburg, Van Velgem, Connell, Velez, Neville, Ross and Bulgarin are chasing.
Back with Category 1 very briefly. We've got Michael Knudsen, Ollie Jones on the attack. They've got 14 seconds, 14 seconds clear of Plantero, Vujasin, Jacobs. 3 riders chasing 2, and Jones and Knudsen are not together as Knudsen continues to push on here at 38.5k. They've still got a fair run to that finish, but it is that run to the finish. We're going to see 2 leaders clear in Category 3 on the run in to the line here on the left-hand side of your screen. They're going to go around this long sweeping right-hand bend. They are catching riders in front as we see SS coming through to finish. I think he's going to come inside of the top 10. We're just going to keep a little bit of a check as he goes in and through the banner. Welcome back to Racing SS. Welcome back to a top 10 finish. He took the racing on there. He worked hard, but he stayed clear of these riders. The lead of Category 4. We are at 900 meters to go. 2 screens as we come around this right-hand turn, and now you can see left-hand side, Category 3. They are coming through. 2 riders clear. Right-hand side, Category 3 chasing group are coming. Can they come fast enough to catch back a Messer, to catch back Angarita Reyes. This is going to be tough stuff. Now, here comes the push. Angarita Reyes coming from behind with the white helmet on, goes on the right-hand side here. There's got to be an answer by Juan Messer with the gold bandana on to Reyes' kick. Reyes is pushing here at nearly 8 watts per kilo. Messer kicks over, heading for nearer 9. In answer to the push by Angarita Reyes, they've got 9 seconds on Kochikov, but that is descending. Walligam and Rimborg are coming as well. Can they get up to the leaders? I think it's too much to ask as we see Reyes come into this left-hand turn. Has he got the beating of Messer? Messer's just seen 9 watts per kilo coming from him, 9.5 from Kochikov, who's brought it down to 7 seconds. So the chasing group are coming, and they're coming fast. They could run out of road, though, because this is going to be a photo finish, or is it? Messer's fading. He's got to kick again. Angarita Reyes is going to come through. Marvin Angarita Reyes comes through, takes victory on qualifier 1 in Category 3 ahead of Martin Messer, who goes through in second place. It's going to be a sprint for the positions. We're going to drop back, though, to Category 2 because Mr. X100 is on the run down into the tunnels with a gap, but this is tenuous, Emma.
Not a huge gap at all. It is just 2 seconds, and Mendakowicz and Bjarhed are leading the chase behind. Jonas Bjarhed loves this course. He is one of those riders always up there and thereabouts on this race course here in Belgium. So Bjarhed leading the chase with Mendakowicz. They are 2 seconds back from X100, who's continuing to put the power down. They're still on the descent at the moment. They're going to come sweeping round and into the Patenberg. Now that may tell me why X100 is putting the power down here. He wants the pace into the Patenberg. The others have the kick. He wants a little bit of sliding room to go with them. Harvey now chasing as well. So the group behind in Category 2, it was 18 riders. It's been whittled away at, and X100 is there. Bjarhed, Graves, all in the mix. They've got Category 3 and Category 4 riders that they have swept up, but it is a strong group of Category 2 riders.
And it's that strong group we're in with here. This is the chase that's coming. Mendakowicz, I think, is going to be the first rider to see Mr. X100, who has put in a long effort here. Specialist at putting in a long, hard effort. He's gone hard. He's broken the group, and the group has had to come back to him. And in doing so, they've lost riders off the back. They've put an effort in, and it may well be that he's blunted that sting, that explosive effort. Meanwhile, just coming behind, Michael Nussen is still clear of Jones. It's only 1 second between them. Those two riders with 13 seconds back to the chasers in Category 1. They're on the way down to the base of the descent, but onto the climb. Right-hand side of your screen, our leaders in Category 2. Maciej Mendakowicz and Mr. X100 with a 7-second gap. Mendakowicz pushes now 7.5 watts per kilo. I've just seen a monstrously big kick come from Mr. X100. He doesn't want to let this go. He went to 10. He's just kicked to 10 again. He's yo-yoing up and down. That is a rider for me on the absolute limit.
Well, the red chevrons are all over the Category 2 race field at the moment because they're chasing Mendakowicz. X100. Bjarhed is there. So is Coinston and Phil Graves kicking out some phenomenal numbers because these riders know this is the final climb. This is the climb that counts. And Mendakowicz is leading this Category 2 race at the moment. Quintero is closing it down with Coinston and Bjarhed. As said, Bjarhed always rides well in Belgium, and he's doing so again today. Quintero is there. He's riding through. So is Coinston and Mendakowicz. This is going to be a group come together of 5 or 6 riders leading. 6 riders, I think, are going to be leading this Category 2 race when they get to the top of the Patenberg.
So this is the summit coming up. Over the top they go, underneath the banner. And now we've still got Mendakowicz and Mr. X100 in this group. Not only are they in this group, they're on the front. Their momentum has taken them up to the front. This is a big, big group. This is going to be a phenomenal run for the line. It's about timing. It's about pace. It's about power. We reckon it's about 6 riders in here, maybe less, dependent on what's gone on behind these riders. It could be more as more have kicked on over the top, but it's going to come down to who has got the kick. Here we go. A right-hand turn coming up. We have got a 1.4k to go.
Well, we've got 1.4k to go, and it's Quintero, Coinston and Graves, Bjarhed, Harvey, Mendakowicz and X100. They are the riders in the mix at the moment at the front of this Category 2 race. 5 podium places, 7 riders.
7 riders, and it's not 7 riders in category 1 because Michael Knudsen, not only was he caught by Ollie Jones, he's been caught and dropped for 3 seconds on the Pattenberg climb. Left-hand side of your screen, you've got the race for the line by Ollie Jones. Right-hand side of your screen, early attackers gone. Mr. X100, he wasn't waiting for anybody to start that sprint. He's gone for a long one. He's at 6.5 watts per kilo. He's nearly 7 watts per kilo. And at the moment, he's caught them napping.
Well, X100 at 7 watts per kilo. The chase is on behind, and it's Bjarhead, Coinston and Graves. What can they do? They are 3 seconds down. Now, we said on this run, and it's absolutely crucial to get your timing right. Sometimes a long run goes early and stays clear, but you've got to have the gap because the push is already coming from behind. Coinston's at 9.7 watts per kilo with 600 meters to go. They're hitting the climb at the moment, and they are eyeballs out in this category 2 race, chasing X100 for the win.
And this is going to come down to who's got anything left. It's been a brutal race so far in category 2 over all of those climbs, all the hills, all of these kilometers. It's all going to come down to who's got anything in the tank. Coiston is right up here on the front, but look who's on his tail. It's Mr. X100, then it's Mendakowicz, and Harvey and Graves are not out of this either. This is about the run for the line now. Who is going to kick? Who has got anything left? Are we going to see somebody pull something out of the bag? It's 4 riders almost across the road here. You could throw a blanket over them. That's the banner. They know this is the line. Koistonen, he's going to push on him, and Mendakowicz has gone over the top, though. It's going to be Maciej Mendakowicz who takes the win from Koistonen and Harvey. That's surely a photo finish between the two. Mr. X100 in the mix. What a ride, what a race. Category 2 delivers on qualifier race number 1. And as we go back to category 1, we have to wait to sum up because Ollie Jones has absolutely blown himself into a different time zone. He has gone clear. He went past Knudsen. He's on the attack. The attack of the casquettes is working. The man with the blue cap is the yellow jersey, the leader in category 1. He's on his way, surrounded by category 2 riders, and that is going to be aided. He's dropped a little bit on the run for the line. He's going to use every single bit he can. This is the run for the line in category 1 here today. It is Happy New Year as we start the new Islamic year here on MyWhoosh. We are making our way to the line. It's going to be a win in qualifier race number 1 in category 1 for Ollie Jones. He comes over the line for the Coalition Alpha Jaw squad. What a ride and what a win. He takes away the win from Michael Knudsen from the Hard to Guard squad. He's in 2nd place. 3rd place is going to be Lionel Vujasin. He makes his way up to the line, the 2nd of the Coalition Alpha Jaw squad to come through. Then it's going to be Michael Plantero. He is kicking to the line just in front of Arnie Jacobs. So Plantero, another great ride by him. It's not going to be long before he's taking away that top spot in category 1. Followed in by Arnie Jacobs. Jacobs, the next Coalition Alpha Jaw squad to come through. They've put strength in depth up there again.
And it's going to be Hayden Pucker taking 6th spot again.
No, he is going to be desperate to be up there. But I tell you what, that was a brutal race here today. Ollie Jones taking away the win. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 49.193 seconds.
That was fast.
In the end, he's sitting down 10 seconds clear of Michael Knudsen. He closed a 3-second deficit on him on that climb and then kicked clear. That was some ride by Jones. Clear of Knudsen in 2nd, with Justin in 3rd, Plantero in 4th, Jacobs in 5th, Hayden Pucker indeed coming through in 6th. Can you just run us through the top spots in the rest of the categories? I'm going to confirm for people.
So category 2, Mendakowicz taking the win from Harvey, from Coinston, and from X100 and Graves. In category 3, it was Reyes from Messer, from Kochkov, Rinberg and Rodriguez. And in category 4, it was Warren from Allport, from Zanaska, from Roy, from Winfield.
What fantastic racing. Don't forget, all these results at the moment are live and will be verified. Great checks to make sure our riders are producing exactly what they show on the screens. And it means we get some great racing across the categories. Now, I'm going to be back with Emma Martin, not next week.
Well, we will be back next week.
That's true. We will be back next week.
We will also...
Before then,
be back tomorrow.
We are back tomorrow and the day after that and the one after that as well, because we will be back for the GCC Summer Championship. Please do give it a watch. It is going to be 5 stages of great racing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. We're really looking forward to putting a words to the action. I hope you're going to watch. If you're not taking part, if you haven't entered, do give it a watch. Make sure you give it a subscribe. Hit that button on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. It is at MyWhoosh. And of course, give Emma a follow. It's at biking_Emma, or me. It's at Matt Fixer Payne. It's time for me to now do the second part of all commentators' things that we need to do. One is have coffee first thing, which kind of works. Second is to have ice cream. I hope you're going to chill out, relax, enjoy. Maybe go watch the women's race back if you haven't seen it already. It was an absolute flyer from me, from all of the team behind the scenes at MyWhoosh who make all of this possible, from Emma and everybody who's been watching the great racing here today, as well as our riders for putting on a great show. Thank you very much for being here. But from Emma and me and the rest of the team, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.